It's your world. You can put as many or as few as you want. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Carl. I'm a Bob Ross certified painting instructor. Thank you so much to those who've liked and subscribed and watched my videos. It really means a lot to me. I can't believe I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers, so thanks again. I thought today we'd do a fantastic Southwest desert scene, so let's go up to the canvas. Up here I have a 16 by 20 canvas. I've covered it in a very thin coat of liquid white. The liquid white is wet so we can move and slide paint. Let's start with the sky. I have my 1-inch brush. I'm going to go into a little bit of cad yellow. I'm going to move it over here to the side. A little bit of yellow ochre and maybe a hint of some of the red, a little bit more. We'll just do kind of a nice warm sky. So X strokes. I'm going to do X strokes, but I'm also going to do some wispy strokes. So just like this, we'll have a really fun sky with, you know, just some things, maybe those indications like that. I actually like that. Kind of creates the illusion of some clouds and things. All right, just mix and blend. The more you go over it, the softer it'll get. Maybe a little bit more of the red. Maybe a little bit down here. And I'm probably doing about 2/3 of the sky and then 1/3, maybe a little bit more than 1/3 with our actual scene, with our desert scene. We'll do some cactus. So this will be good for me. I live in the Pacific Northwest, so this is not the norm that I'm used to. And you know what? I'm going to go into a little bit of just bright red. Watch this. And we'll just, here and there, put some indications. Just some very bright. Maybe right up in here. Ooh, look at that. Who knows? You know, in your world, you can change this up as you wish. Now, very carefully, a little bit of phthalo blue. And we'll go into a little bit of the alizarin crimson. I want this to be a little bit more reddish, a little bit more lavender on the red side. And then maybe up in here, we'll put just some clouds and things happening. Who knows? You know what? Maybe we'll go a little bit into the bright red. Ooh, I like that. I'm doing these kind of wispy strokes. Now again, I have multiple brushes going. I'm going to go into a clean 1-inch brush. You could use a 2-inch brush. And I'm going to just do some X strokes. Start down here at the base. Remember we have the liquid white up here. And then I'm going to very carefully go up into that lavender color. Just soften and blend. And again, the more you go over it, the softer it'll get. And it's really important as you're painting, make sure you step back. You know, paintings are meant to be looked at from a distance, not right up close. So make sure you step back and just take a look and see how things are looking. There. So I took that lavender mixture, a little bit more phthalo blue, and we'll put a little bit up here, very top. And I'm going to use these wispy strokes. I don't want too much. Just at the very top. And it kind of looks like those clouds. And then very soft. I'm just using very light pressure and soften those. There. I'm going to take that same 1-inch brush that I blended. Now I'm not going to go down in here. I'll just kind of go up here and just soften here and there. There. And I'm going to scoop up that same mixture that I did at the very top, kind of that bluish mixture. Let's go into a little bit more of the alizarin crimson. maybe a little bit of the phthalo blue, and then a hint of white. So a little bit of the white just to push it off in the distance. And I'm going to use a filbert brush. So way back in the distance, these are going to be far away. Maybe some distant, let's see if I like this color. So maybe something like this. Let's go a little bit more to the reddish side. See that? Oh, I like that. I like that. And who knows, maybe way far away. We won't see a lot of detail back here. Oftentimes there's these kind of sharp, more vertical type structures like rock formations. And then who knows, maybe this kind of fades off. We'll have something else over there, and then we'll just kind of mix and soften. I want these to be a little looser, a little less distinct back here. And who knows, maybe this way far away back here. Just something like that. And I'll just scrub in a little bit of color. That same 1-inch brush that I blended the sky, very carefully, we'll just kind of pull and move the paint. Remember, we have the liquid white. And I do want this to be on the more faded side, a little softer. But look at that. Look at, we can start shaping. And the lay of the land, it's your world. You can have fun with that. Well, look how that quickly we've got a sky and some distant rock formations. Just like that. Maybe there's some highlights back there. So we'll take a little bit of the yellow ochre, a little bit of the bright red. There's just some indications. Let's go into a little bit of liquid white. Let's see how this looks. Maybe a little bit brighter. Just some, oh, I like that. Look at this, just here and there. Some light cascading off of those. And again, we won't see too much, but here and there, we can just throw in some color. There. Wow, look at that. Just looks like it's way far away. Again, we won't see too much here. There. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into some yellow ochre and a little cad yellow. And maybe a hint, just a hint of green. Maybe way in the distance here. We just see a little bit of green here and there, or some maybe desert colors. I don't know, maybe. And I'm really just scrubbing in color because we wouldn't see a lot of detail back here. This is meant to be far, far away. So we just make out some colors. Again, some of this will likely be covered. I have multiple brushes going, and I'm just going to soften this, just maybe way in the distance here. All right, I got my knife, and let's mix up a little bit of some green color. Let's go into that purple with a little bit of green. I just added some sap green, maybe a little bit more sap green. So I really want kind of a medium green color, so like a little bit olive green in tone. I have a filbert brush. And we're just going to start putting indications of little things happening. Maybe some little bushes. And we're really looking for indications. Not a lot of detail, but we are moving a little bit closer. So something about like that. There. I remember one time I was down in Tucson, Arizona, and I think the week I was there I was about 110 each day. So little bit toasty for me. There. Of the yellow ochre and cad yellow. And just here and there, maybe there's some some sand, maybe a little bit of dark sienna in there. But maybe we've got just some things happening back here. Just get a little underpaint there. There. And we'll start moving forward with bushes and start shaping things a little bit more. And then we can really have some fun. Maybe a little bit of Van Dyke into this color. Very carefully. Maybe we've got some cactus that are starting to poke up. So take your time. But way far away, we'll just start adding some of these little details. And you can spend so much time, but just here and there and here, there's some distant cacti. I'm not sure which it is. But look at that, just like that. This is the filbert brush with some of the yellows. And we can just start putting in just some indications. Maybe there's some distant highlights. But we don't see too much. We don't see too much. Ooh, change of flavor. And I'm going to take that sand color. Maybe we got some sand way back here. We don't know, something like that. And I see something here. I'm gonna bring this. I'm gonna bring this side. Maybe we've got some more bushes right in here. Maybe they come down right in there. And it's important, work in layers. Work in layers. Maybe let's put a little bit of highlights on these guys. And I'm going to take that 1-inch brush and I'm just going to pull some of these colors down here. Maybe there's some shadows and some sand. I might take a little bit of brown. So I have dark sienna, Van Dyke, and maybe here and there just some indications of some things happening in here. All right, I have a half round brush and I'm going to go into a little bit of Van Dyke and a little bit of sap green. We'll go back into that same area where we did the background color there. And maybe right in here, we'll have another layer right down in here. So maybe something like that. Maybe it comes right there. There. And I see another, let's do a cactus. So we'll go back into some sap green, a little bit of Van Dyke, probably a little more towards the greenish side. Right there. Just pull down. And we got, I really like this peak here, so I don't want to get too close. There's one there. Just a happy cactus. There. That kind of frames it nicely. And let's bring some of this color down. Who knows, maybe it just comes down here. We've got some different bushes. And I'm going to take some of that sand color with maybe a little dark sienna. And we'll just scrub in some color back here. Maybe this comes down in front. Who knows? Let's just get in some color. There. We'll reshape any bushes we need to. And I do want it a little darker as we get lower. That'll help draw your eye towards that center. So maybe over here it's a little darker. Yeah, maybe this sand comes right down in here. There we go. I'm going to go back into that. This is the half round again. You could certainly use a filbert brush. You could use a 1-inch brush. There. And let's put in over here. So just maybe there's another layer right there. Just tapping. Maybe these come right in front, right there. And we'll have another big cactus right there. So get my sap green. This is my filbert again. Yeah, maybe we have... Whoa, look at that one. A little bit more color. I need a little bit more color. Bring it over. So I'm just pulling with the the filbert brush. You know, this one, maybe this one has, let's do something like that. Probably a little thicker. There. And who knows, maybe we have, I'm going to take that same half round and let's go into, I don't want this to be too bright initially, but let's go into some of these highlight colors. I have the yellow ochre, cad yellow. We'll kind of mix it up a bit. So tap, tap, tap. There. And again, if it's not sticking, we'll add a little bit of, you could do, I have walnut oil, but you could do liquid white like I did here. That will change the flavor just a little bit. So maybe right here. There's some fun bushes. There. It's your world. You can put as many or as few as you want. Just rotating the shape of the round brush or half round brush. There. And we'll bring in a little bit of that brown color right underneath. There. Now I do want to shape a little bit more here. So I'm going to take the filbert brush and I'm going to wipe it off a little bit just so it's not as much. And just here and there. Right out there. And then let's reshape this guy. And then maybe out here there's just some bushes. I'm going to pull this way. There. Maybe we just have some bushes just out in space. Maybe there's one here. And I actually kind of see maybe back in here, just to break this up a bit. There's some bushes and things. You can spend so much time with these details. Hopefully you spend more than I do. But just some indications. Now I'm going to go back into that half round with some of the highlight color. Let's have some fun. Bright yellow bushes up there. and leave some of that underpaint. Tap, tap, tap. Ooh, yeah. But leave space. Leave the dark. This half round is a lot of fun. I don't use it too much, but it is quite a bit of fun. And then let's change the flavor. Maybe a little bit of the red into the orange or to the ochre. We'll change it up. Okay, let's take a little bit of that ochre color, and maybe we have a little bit of just some sand or a path coming through. There, just scrubbing some color in here. Move the paint. Maybe these bushes down here. And while we're at it, let's take that shadow color. Just bring in a little bit. Just darken the edges. And I do see a little bit of some bluish color. There. And a little bit of white. Little tiny bushes. Right there. Ooh, that's fun. Maybe the top edge, just on the ground. Same half round. So I just added a little bit of blue and a little green, and I got this teal color. Ooh, yeah, look at that. And I might throw a little bit in here too. Maybe we have just some of those colors floating around in there. And I think it helps break up some of the color too. I like that. In your world, you can put whatever colors you'd want. Let's take this same filbert brush. Let's go into a little bit of sap green, some of the yellow ochre and cad yellow. We'll kind of make this olivey color, a little bit lighter. And let's go up to the cactus. Light's coming from the right. There. And then let's be very careful. Just some light zinging on those. Yeah, these cactus are fun. Here, just a little bit more, just thinking of how the light would hit. And I'm going to go into a little bit of black on my filbert brush. This is the one that was the darker color. And maybe here and there we'll just add just a little bit of shadow. I don't want to lose, I want it to have some darkness. And you know what, maybe we'll have some bushes off to the side here. There. So a little bit darker. Yeah, maybe this one, maybe this one comes all the way. That quickly, I just changed it. But I want it to be a little bit darker. Let's soften just some of these here. Pull them down. Tap, tap, tap. Just tap again. And I'm going to take, we'll add a kind of a finishing touch here. I'm going to take some of the liquid white and maybe a little bit of the green. And then maybe on this very sides. Some lights hitting those cactus. There. And then I'm just taking the liner brush and just softening some of those strokes. There. There, and I think we have a completed painting. So I'm going to sign this. Thanks for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this desert painting. Check out my website at carlvonartistry.com. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Happy painting. See you next time.